Hey kids, I'm Mr. Rhoman. I am actually a graduate of Fayette County Public Schools. I went to Ashland Elementary, Winburn Middle School, and I graduated from Henry Clay High School, and I'm now the special project intern to help out with all the special projects going on in Fayette County Public Schools. My favorite subject back in school was actually Spanish, and today this book is in English, but I'm going to be reading with you The Dreamer by Pam Muñoz Ryan and Peter Cease. So 5th graders may have this book at home. The cover looks just like this, and some of the pictures in there look like this. So if you have this book, I would encourage you all to read along with me. If you don't have this book, you can read the captions at the bottom of the screen and you can listen along. So, without further ado, let's begin The Dreamer by Pam Muñoz Ryan and Peter Cease. I am poetry, waiting to seize the poet. I ask the questions for which all answers exist. I choose no one, I choose everyone. Come closer, if you dare. Chapter 1, Rain. On a continent of many songs, in a country shaped like the arm of a guitarista, the rain drummed down on the town of Temuco. Neftali Reyes sat up in his bed, propped up by pillows, and stared at the schoolwork in front of him. His teacher called it simple addition, but it was never simple for him. How he wished the numbers would just disappear. He squeezed his eyes closed and opened them. The 2s and 3s lifted from the page and waved for the others to join them. The 5s and the 7s sprang upward, and finally, after much prodding, the 4s, 1s, and 6s came along. But the 9s and 0s would not budge, so the others left them. They held hands, and a long procession of tiny figures flew across the room and escaped through the window crack. Neftali closed the book and smiled. He certainly could not be expected to finish his homework with only the lazy 0s and 9s lolling on his page. He slowly stepped out of bed and to the window, leaning his forehead against the pane and gazing into the backyard. He knew that he should rest in order to recuperate from his illness. He knew that when he wasn't resting, he should catch up on his studies. But there were so many distractions. Outside, the winter world was gray and sodden. The earth turned to mud, and a small stream flowed through a hole in the ramshackle fence. At the moment, no one lived next door. Still, Neftali always imagined a friend on the other side, waiting for him. Someone who might enjoy watching flotsam drift downriver, who collected twisted sticks, liked to read, and was not good at mathematics either. He heard footsteps. Was it father? He had been away, working on the railroad for a week, and was due home today. Neftali's heart pounded, and his round brown eyes grew large with panic. The footsteps came closer. Clump, 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 clump. Neftali reached up and smoothed his thick black hair. Was it out of place? He held up his hands and looked at his thin fingers. Were they clean enough? The idea of having to confront father made his arms tingle and his skin feel as if it were shrinking. He took a deep breath and held it. The footsteps passed his room and continued down the hall. Neftali exhaled. It must have been my madre, his stepmother. in her wooden-heeled shoes. He listened until he was sure that no one was near, then he turned to the window again. Raindrops strummed across the zinc roof. Water mysteriously trilled above him, worming its way indoors. Weepy puddles dripped from the ceiling, filling the pots that had been poised to catch them. Plip, plip, plop, bloop, bloop, bloop. Oh, 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 oh. Plip, 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 plop. Tin, 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 tin. Plop, plippity, plip, bloop, bloop, oip, oip, oip. Tin, 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 plip, 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 plop. As Naphtali listened to the piano of wet notes, he looked up at the Andes Mountains, hovering like a white-robed choir. He looked out at the river Cautín, pattering through the forest. He closed his eyes and wondered what lay beyond. Past the places of Labranza, Baroa, Renquilco, where the sea plucked at the rugged land. The window opened. A carpet of rain swept in and carried Naphtali to the distant ocean he had only seen in books. There, he was the captain of a ship, its prow slicing through the blue. Salt water sprayed his cheeks. His clothes fluttered against his body. He gripped the mast, looking back on his country, Chile. Naphtali, who spoons the water from the cloud to the snowcap to the river and feeds it to the hungry ocean? The screech of a conductor's whistle snapped Naphtali to attention. He jerked around. Father's body filled the doorway. Naphtali shuddered.
Stop that incessant daydreaming.
The white tip of Father's yellow beard quivered as he quenched and unclenched his narrow jaw.
And why are you out of bed?
Naphtali averted his eyes.
Do you want to be a skinny weakling forever and amount to nothing?
No, Father,
stammered Naphtali.
Your mother was the same, scribbling on bits of paper, her mind always in another world.
Naphtali rubbed his temples. He had never known his mother. She had died 2 months after he was born. Was Father right? Could daydreaming make you weak? Had it made his mother so weak that she had died? Mamadre hurried into the room. Father pointed at her.
You need to watch him more closely,
he said.
He must stay in bed or he will never get stronger.
As he bounded from the doorway, the floor shook. Mamadre took Naphtali's hand, gently helped him into bed, and tucked the blankets around him.
your mother did not die from her imagination,
she whispered.
It was a fever. And look at me. I'm small and many say much too thin. I may not appear big and strong on the outside, but I am perfectly capable on the inside, just like you.
She stroked his head.
I know it is hard to spend so many days in bed.
I feel fine,
said Naphtali, reaching up to touch her black hair, which was pulled into a tight bun at the back of her neck.
Just one more day, said Mamadre. I will read to you to help pass the time.
Thank you for reading with me. I encourage you to read aloud with your family at least once per day. And also, you can read by yourself too, just to practice your literacy skills.